Hello everyone, I'm Stepan Suvorov, and first of all I would like to say a few words what brings me to such a topic. Currently, being a CTO, I'm doing basically full-time infrastructure thing. Currently we are migrating our infrastructure and we promise our clients to be faster, better, and of course more secure. And basically we need to keep our promise. That's why I'm doing a lot of research about this topic. And also I would like to take a chance and say thank you to this guy, Philip de Rijk. Basically this guy inspired me to deep dive into security topic. I'm doing security only from time to time for infrastructure, but this guy is doing security like full time, and I really recommend you to check his talks on YouTube. There are already a lot about different topics. So, web security is quite a broad topic, and I took only several pieces of it and would like to cover some of them. You can see. So SQL injection I decided to take out because it's not that top vulnerability anymore. And we will discuss things like XSS and cross-site request forgery attacks, project dependencies, some headers that you would like to set up. So, but first thing that also I would like to say what we are going to speak about. It's not everything about security, of course. It's only two topics that I want to highlight. It's vulnerabilities and access management, and we start with access management. And some exercise to raise hands who understand what's the difference between authorization and authentication. Yeah. Okay, not bad, not bad. So, authorization, as we know, it's about checking the privileges, and authentication, it's about defining who is a person. And the third thing in these definitions is session management, who basically binds them between. And speaking about session management, we can use old school session management based on cookies. That's pretty much it. Nothing extra to say. Or we can use new modern client side that is used more and more when we store our token on client. And defining for our application what would be the best way, we need to refer to such things, like three things. They're called locality. It's about what's the logic behind it. How would you identify your session? Of course, the storage mechanism. You can use at least three well-known, maybe something else. And also transportation, based again on cookies, or it's gonna be header, authorization header that probably brings token out. So when we are speaking about server side, we also need to take into account that all results are always in stateful backend. That's why probably we are all migrating from server-side session to client-side session. But in terms of security, it gives you more control on a session. It is not bad. And again, because of this, ID is on the server. And comparing to client side, that is stateless. But unfortunately, you don't have full control. If for some reason you need to like finish the session for one user that for some reason was removed from the system, it's not that easy like with server side. And of course, you're paying the cost of larger requests if you want to put the whole session and send it each time with a request. And obvious thing that you need to store it on client side, that could be also security issue. And the most used JSON Web Token thing, a bit of logic behind it. It's pretty simple in structure. If you see, there is only 3 parts. It's like a header, payload, and signature. Signature is based on header and payload. So if hacker would like to change something in payload, he has to change the signature, and he cannot change the signature. Why? And here we see the simple diagram of logic behind JWT token. We have here a secret key. So when user use our application first time, we set up with this secret key a signature based on data, based on maybe user ID or something else, and it's stored somewhere in cookies or another session storage. And second time when user comes, we can verify again based on this secret key by again calculating the signature and comparing. If it's a hacker, so no way to create the same signature, only in case if secret key was already stolen, but that's a different topic. And I also provided a link that you can play with JWS token, encode and decode. And there is also confusion, some confusion about around developers, that JWT token is already encrypted. So it's no way to get the information from JWT token. It's not true. It's just base 64 encoded. So hacker can easily encode it. It's not encrypted. Signature just prove that there is its correct information. It was not changed. And speaking about authorization tokens, I have a small puzzle for you. It's just a piece of Angular application because I like Angular, but the idea is that it's middleware, and we are sending each time with each request to our API, we just adding our authorization token. And that's real solution, real example, because if you check the links here that I provided later, it's from well-known blogs, Stack Overflow questions that all provide you such a solution. But what could go wrong here? You can say it loud. Because like almost, well, probably 9 out of 10 applications who is using this technique, using this solution. And we always adding our security token to all the requests. Any idea? So the problem is here that we are sending it to everywhere. We are not checking that it's actually our API. And when it's a small application and we are sure like that it's only our API, we shouldn't care about this middleware, maybe. But when it's growing and we are adding more and more endpoints that could go to third-party providers, that could be an issue. Even taking in account that they are not like black hacker providers. We are still sending our security token just to third-party services. But why should we do so? Why should we provide user security token to other providers? And good solution would be here to whitelist your own APIs. In this case, you prevent sudden situation when you send in authorization token to somebody else. Going next to cross-site scripting thing. Again, raise your hands. Who knows? Cross-site security. Yes, more or less good. What we can say about cross-site security? We can define 3 types of cross-site security attacks. It's reflected, stored, and DOM-based. If we are speaking about reflected attack, it means that hacker is sending or providing you specific link to the application that for some reason outputs this code without validating the request. And you are getting inside your HTML code, for some reason you are getting bad script code. That's one type. Stored one. It means we provide hacker an ability. We didn't filter out some kind of form that he sends. He just made a comment on our item, but for some reason we decided not to filter this. Or it was like real story when we like our backend team for some reason decided not to filter one of the profile properties. It was job title or so, and we decided to put it after in leaderboard, and it appeared to be that we have a big problem because after some time we have JavaScript code on the side. Luckily for us, it was white hacker who reported the issue, and we just provided a bonus for it. Also, the thing that previously, like 5 years ago, it was everywhere, but now it's less and less. But you definitely should keep in mind that creating your own sanitization is bad practice. You never know what hacker could create. And speaking about DOM-based. DOM-based is somehow related to reflected one, that we can send. Yeah, that's how the vulnerability looks like. We just take some piece of URL or URL itself, parameter, whatever, and then add it to DOM directly. And what we got? Of course, we again get nice JavaScript code that executed on our page. Speaking about own sanitizers, from old good PHP that was taken again from the real project, how could you prevent such a situation? Or vice versa, I would say. If you are a hacker, what do you need to send to bypass this security sanitizer, I would say, when we just replace script to span tag. Well, yes, so that's the first thing. You can just do this stuff, and because our string replace is sensitive to that's done. And there are so many things that you can do to bypass security filters, like running it in source, or even more sophisticated one when you refer to image that does not exist, you still can run the attribute and run JavaScript code from there. So again, no own sanitizers. That's a bad practice, and there are already good libraries to cover. And a bit of Angular. Angular is good because it provides from box already control to prevent like 9 out of 10 problems. Because first of all, it controls the data that is provided to template. And Angular also knows the context, whether it's text or it's a URL or it's a style. And based on this, the correct sanitization is applied. But also, for all Angular developers, be very careful with using this bypass security trust. What does it mean, bypass security trust? We can apply to content when Angular says that, oh, I think that's not good. I would like not to output this JavaScript code here, but we are saying bypass security trust. Just trust this like normal HTML code. And Angular says, well, okay, you better know. And again, a lot of answers on Stack Overflow is about this solution, but it's not really a solution. There is no sanitization. You're just saying that just output it. And in this case, Angular says, okay, you better know. So each time when you use bypass security trust, you need to check the data yourself. If it's a URL link to YouTube, just apply some regular expression to check whether it's correct pattern, there is an ID, not to have some hidden problems after. And even with Angular, we have some problems if you do some kind of magic on server side and you would like to create templates on fly. Again, it's bad practice, and luckily it's not used anymore, and with ahead of time compilation we also basically skip this problem, but still for some old versions should know. And this thing that like the whole presentation could be about this tool that is called Beef. I really recommend you to have a look. If you think that cross-site scripting, I'm not storing password in cookies, so I don't care about cross-site scripting. Hacker cannot do bad to my site. And this is tool exactly built to use all the power of XSS, even to use webcam of laptop that just open the site with vulnerability of XSS. Going to next attack, it's about cross-site request forgery. It's not that well known probably as XSS, but still pretty tricky. What is it about? It's about, I would say, not very clever way of browsers of using cookies. What does it mean? It means if hacker provides us another site, we have our site, some kind of good bank.com, and our hacker provides us something nice catpictures.com, and we are going to nicecatpictures.com, and we have form there, just normal HTML form, and we want to put a comment on this form to comment an image, but suddenly this page is redirected to bank.com and some transaction happened. Why so? With just simple HTML form, we can send all the cookies to cookies of that was set for bank.com from our images.com, and with specific request, with specific action, the post request with cookies. And if we were already authorized on bank.com, we have a problem. And how to prevent such a thing? Oh yeah, one more nice thing that it's real, like again, real story. It was about eBay that they just answered that it was reported that hey guys, you have such an issue there, and they said, okay, no problem, nobody can update password with such a request. Well, okay, password cannot be updated, but information to restore that password can be done, and by this information, of course, it can be hacked. And still, they like fixed it only after 10 days after report. So, and the most used logic to fix the issue, it's to duplicate or to provide, like in a pair, cookie and security token. What does it mean? As we said, hacker can provide you another site, and by the form on this site he can send your cookies to bank.com, but still he has no access to cookies. He can just make a request, post request to bank.com, and cookies will be sent automatically, but no direct request to cookies. That's why we can provide inside cookies a special flag that we need to send also specific token. And only good site, bank.com, can read this cookie and send together with request also this token. And server can check whether they are both correct, so the cookie and token. If they match, all good. If not, probably it was hacker, and better to reauthorized user. And one more thing, good thing that is coming. Finally, after a long period, there is a fix. There is a fix for all the browsers. Even IE11, as you see, almost supported. What does it mean, same site cookie? It means that no more sending cookies from images.com to bank.com. If you set specific flag for really serious cookies, that browser will understand that shouldn't send these cookies from images.com. And you can apply it already now. That's a nice thing. Next subtopic, about dependencies. Also like this subtopic. We have a lot of different dependencies according to statistics. And dependencies are two types. First of all, about just includings, inline includings of JavaScript code. Why it's a problem, and is it a problem to load some jQuery, Angular, React libraries? We are all modern development, and we are all doing bundles, but still for some project we have to load something from some libraries from CDN, some plugins. And again, real story about British Airways. They used library modernizer from CDN, and they were hacked. How was it done? The CDN itself was compromised, and to this library was added just a few lines of code. If you look into details, this code just was sending the credit card details. It was a payment gateway, and so 60,000, as far as I remember, users sent their details to another URL by just these extra 20 lines of code, because the CDN was compromised. How to prevent such a situation? We have a thing that is called Subresource Integrity. What does it mean? That you provide with your script including, you provide extra attribute, and browser can check this attribute whether it's valid. Of course, we can calculate the hash of write file and provide it together with inline including. So basically, when we are adding the integrity thing and specifying what kind of hash is it, browser knows that it's not this file anymore. And yeah, again, it's supported almost, I had a link here, it's supported almost all the browsers, so it's better to implement now. And back to another thing, we already said that includings are not for us. We are using like bundles, we bundle our project, but do you really know all the dependencies of your project? All the open source dependencies, all the dependencies of dependencies. Because when you use npm, it probably looks like so, and on some point you already don't know that what are you using. And again, the story about nice npm package that has a lot of downloads, and like author of this package said, I don't have time anymore to support. Who wants to support this package? And hacker said, okay, I can do it, and just added several lines of code again. And people still were using this, and there is a link if you want to see the details. It was a real issue on GitHub, so it was a discussion. Then a lot of angry people. What are you doing? Why you are providing? But it's open source. It's provided for free. No guarantee. You are using its own risk. How we can try to prevent such a situation? Well, at least use the command npm audit like by default. When you push to master, always do npm audit to at least to check that there are no high risk. And also my experiment, I didn't know that's like it was so easy to provide wrong package also. There is a package that is called there were a package that was called Angular minus CLI that provides you CLI Angular CLI tool. And I decided what I remove the minus and just make a copy, but copy with some additions that I want to do. And I did it. I published my own package. By the way, if you do the fork from GitHub and then publish it to NPM, NPM provides the whole nice information about stars, about all the reputation. So it was so nice. And I did it like a year ago or even more, and I still see like 56 downloads per week. So be careful with npm packages that you are installing. And to solve this, now there is kind of trusted thing or company thing that npm is provided, that you start with add angular add something slash if it's sub package. So now Angular CLI is called add Angular slash CLI. Not to be confused, but still 56 downloads. It's even difficult to Google this package. I tried only if you put the exact name and find, but people just write it in console npm install. So be careful. And I also would like to reference like the next speaker, because as far as I understand this is his topic, and probably he will tell you more about it. Next subtopic is CSP headers or content security policy. What's it all about? Again, if at some point our developers, our front-end developers, made a mistake and there is some kind of hidden XSS attack possible, vulnerability, we can still prevent it. We can send specific headers that we are allowing only these resources, only from these domains. So if even script like hacker script was injected, it will be not executed. Browser will stop it because we provide correct headers. So I really recommend you to do this. And also a good thing that not to break your application, because you can create some kind of strict rules, but if you have big enterprise application, when you apply these rules, you can see that application is broken. You can set it in report only mode and first provide rules, say, okay, we need to report all the scripts that are like not under our conditions, and after all fix these places and then switch it into strict mode. That's about CSP. And one more topic, it's about HTTPS. That is nice to use. Or maybe not. Who thinks that no reason to use HTTPS, or it's bad to use HTTPS? Because previously there were two arguments about HTTPS. That's good news that we have more and more for HTTPS, and HTTPS. One more thing before about confusion about SSL and TLS. Do you know the difference? Somebody says it's TLS. Somebody is saying SSL. What's it all about? It's actually about one thing. SSL was created by Microsoft, then the standard was made after 3 years, but Microsoft didn't want to call it SSL because it was already their name. That's why the standard had to be named TLS. But in fact, you should know that SSL and TLS is the same. And back to my question, why not to use HTTPS? And there are two things in discussion. Like, first thing, that it costs money, especially if you are doing your pet project. Maybe you don't want to pay for it. But we already have Let's Encrypt thing that solves this problem. And second thing about speed and performance, it's also not true. And next question, how would you bring your user that tries to enter your application via HTTP to HTTPS? Or you just close HTTP, just send the force redirect. Yes, yeah, that's what the most sites are doing. User comes to our site with HTTP, we redirect to HTTPS, and next request goes to HTTPS. That's the normal thing. What could be wrong here? And actually we can have man-in-the-middle attack here, because when we are doing first request with HTTP in kind of untrusted network where anybody can be in it, hacker can take your package and send it to website. Website will respond obviously with redirect. Hacker can manage to do HTTP requests, that's not a problem. Site says, okay, good, I'm sending HTTPS response. And again, hacker rewrites HTTPS, all the URLs to HTTP, to user. And for user, it's a normal site. User submits the login password. Okay, hacker do the same, only HTTPS. And 95% of sites have this issue. What could be done better in this case? First, we can use specific headers that are sending not like just redirect, but strict transport security header that is saying to browser that we are using only HTTPS. And next time when browser tries to access our site with HTTP request, browser automatically when user tries to access our site with HTTP request, browser automatically converts this request to HTTPS, and there is no problem. So what we're missing here? It's still first request is done with HTTP. Comparing to previous problem, here we have only first request, and previously we have each first request during the session. So this one is definitely better. But we still can make it even better to prevent this first request. Yeah, that's a good thing about support in browsers, about strict transport security. And to prevent this, we have special resource that you can add your site, like site that uses only HTTPS. And it will be it will be like in all the browsers next release. So basically in 3-4 weeks all browsers will know that your site is using only HTTPS. Only one thing, be careful with applying this thing. Be sure that all the resources, especially if you have big site, they use HTTPS, because sometimes some third party are still on HTTP. Not to have broken site, because this one will be really hard to fix. Only in again 3-4 weeks. So that's the nice thing. And yeah, be careful of what you're doing. And thank you for your attention.